How's it going, YouTube Nation? This is a very special video for me. I'm introducing my Kickstarter campaign. I've actually alluded to it with a short that I put up just recently for a beer-based superhero called Brew. The short actually is the best short I've ever put up. It got a lot of views and is leading to this, where my campaign is called Card Games and Comic Books. Very simple title. It just launched on Kickstarter yesterday on the 29th. And what it is, I took my independently published comic books and merged them with novelty card games based on each of those books and putting them together as one product. And so I want to introduce these to you, and hopefully you'll go check out my campaign and see if you want to back it as well. So the first game I want to introduce is The Adventures of Little Pellian. This one's more for younger kids, and I want to state that each one of the 4 games I'm going to show you are for completely different demographics, for different age ranges, so I pride myself on making new concepts that could fit multiple tastes. So this one's more for younger kids. It's a very beautifully done book, beautiful artwork by Quinian Dang, about a family of flower sprites. They all have amazing powers and abilities. They're trying to protect their forest home. But the youngest flower sprite, Pellian, she is the most powerful sprite, but she's also very lazy, way too easygoing. And of course the challenge is her family's trying to get her to realize her potential while she's a master at goofing off. So that's the introductory comic book, the 8-page Ashcan, and all these games are a part of the Make 100 campaign, so each one's only limited to 100 copies. And the card game Petal Pass is a fast-paced game where kids choose a flower, and they have to get 4 of a kind, and they're frantically passing cards to each other to see who could get the flower design first. And it also encourages parents and kids to make up their own game. The second combo pack is my flagship comic book, my best-selling comic book, which is Paperoxis and Stuff Wars, where I took the classic hand game that everyone on Earth knows, rock, paper, scissors, and brought it to life as an actual planetary war between empires. And it also has plastic, sand, water as living creatures, anvil gods, glue armies. It's the most insane and manic concept I've ever came up with. I'm very proud of it, with amazing, stunning artwork by Hugh Rookwood, and the cover is by heavy metal magazine artist George Todorovsky. And the card game truly complements the comic book, where each one of these elements in the comic book can defeat 2 other elements. So the card game, very self-explanatory on the cards themselves, is that it's a battle card game where you're trying to get each element to defeat other elements, and whoever defeats all the elements first and gets rid of all their cards is the winner. This is going to be a fun one. And in the manual, it also explains how to play the new elements as part of the hand battle. So now water, sand, and plastic are now part of the hand battle, so that's also in there as well. For you horror fans, I got Enter the World of Mephistopheles, Do the Devil's Decree. So I didn't publish too many of these, and this is the only comic book that contains my artwork. I'm not a fan of drawing, but I did draw the original comic book decades ago, and I decided let me come out with it. And in this horror series, it's an alternate Earth where pretty much the devil, known as the Damned, actually has domain on Earth and chooses people at random to play with them like toys. Just torment them, get them to attack other people. That's what led to the idea of the actual game called Do the Devil's Decree, where players have to draw on cards and do what the cards say. So some of them are just truths based on horror situations. So you're admitting who you would sacrifice, what you would do in certain situations, but it also relays to the other people playing. So a simple example is vampires are attacking. You can escape, but you must sacrifice one of your opponents in order to escape. Who do you sacrifice and why? So the whole idea is that your friends are finding out what you think about them in certain horror situations, and then there are dares, and then there's cards just for random things. So it's a fun party game. And then there's my newest idea, which funny enough is the one that started all of this concept and this idea of doing card games and comic books together. And this is Beer Miss Brew. And it is about a beer-powered superhero from Halifax, Nova Scotia. He creates the perfect lager, the perfect beer. So perfect that when he drinks it, he gets superpowers. And of course, the forces of evil are after the recipe for their own nefarious purposes. And yeah, it's meant to be corny and funny and weird, and that's just the way I do things. And then the Beer Miss Brew Master, the card game, is a trivia-based card game. Very easy, straightforward. There's a whole bunch of trivia cards with beer-based questions. If you get them right, you get to drink. If you get them wrong, you don't get to drink. And then there's 8 different wild cards in there that cause head-to-head battles when it comes to belching competitions, cheesy pickup lines, chugging competitions. And unlike my other games where there's a definitive winner, with this one, as long as you get sloshed, nicely tipsy, and everyone's laughing, you win. You get the bragging rights if your beer knowledge trumps everyone else. But why this one is the most significant is when I last year during the beginning of winter, I was watching, on Sunday night they had a rerun of The Simpsons of the Duffman episode where they explain Duffman has a daughter and all that kind of stuff. And it really got me thinking, there's no real beer superheroes out there. And so I decided, and yeah, I started talking to people and you realize the only beer superhero anyone could name was Duffman. And Duffman isn't actually a superhero in The Simpsons. He's a corporate mascot. So I decided, let me make up my own beer-based superhero. And at the same time, simultaneously, I thought of the card game, a trivia card game about beer. See how much beer knowledge you have, and if you have the knowledge, you get to drink. And I thought, after I started working on this, I was like, hey, let me do this for my other comic books. And what also led to this idea, so this is what sparked the idea. What also led to the idea is there's a retailer here called Giant Tiger. They're like a smaller version of Walmart or what Zellers used to be when they existed. Like a department store or a discount store, whatever you want to classify it as. And I went to their toys and games section during the Christmas time to get something for my daughter and for my nieces and nephews and what have you. And their selection was not impressive. For a Canadian retailer, and even with Canadian Tire, I'm looking at their stuff, and it's the same things that you would find at Walmart. The only difference is pricing. They battle over pricing. So there's the Gajillion Uno type games, and the same type of board games and everything else. And, that reminded me of the Comic-Cons I was at earlier in the year and talking to different people who said they want different concepts. Doesn't matter if it's movies, comic books, games. They want new. They just don't want the same things, especially when it comes to comic books. And I was like, you know what? There's an opportunity here. There's an opportunity to introduce new content for people who say they truly want it. And I get it. I am a comic book geek. I'm a lifelong comic book nerd. And this year, there's more sequels and remakes than I think ever before. There was a list I saw on Facebook where they're showing what's coming out this year, and it's just remakes and sequels and prequels, and it's like the whole industry, the whole entertainment industry is just about regurgitating and recycling concepts and do not want to give new concepts a chance. So it's upon us as creators to find creative ways to get our stuff out there. So that's what I'm doing. I'm doing this to entertain gamers, entertain comic book fans, entertain collectors, and put it all together into one product. So I'm hoping that you guys will like what you see. The link is on the screen. It's in the description area. And if you just go into Kickstarter, it's Card Games and Comic Books. That's basically the name of it. Kept it simple. Everything when it comes to these blister packs and everything you see here, all this is 100% made in North America. So even the plastic clamshell blisters are made in the USA. Everything else is printed and made here in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada. So I'm a stickler when it comes to made in North America, made in Canada, and I'm very proud of that. So nothing here is from overseas. So for those of you out there who are comic book fans, who love indie comic books, love new ideas, love just fast-paced party card games, they're there. They're $25 each Canadian, which I think is only like $18 and $19 American. And yeah, the campaign runs until the 4th of March, and I really hope that you'll support it. Thank you very much, and please leave a comment and any feedback you have. I really appreciate it. Take care.